opportunity. So today what I'd like to talk to you guys about is how to successfully evaluate Pentaho BI Enterprise Edition. This doesn't necessarily only apply to Pentaho, but actually applies to all software evaluations, and talk about common best practices. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this and talk about the purpose of today is we're going to share some common best practices around a Pentaho evaluation, talk about different approaches to evaluation. A lot of people are unaware of that there's more than one way to evaluate Pentaho. And then finally, we're going to familiarize you with the resources that Pentaho does provide to you in order for you to be able to have a successful evaluation. So some common best practices around evaluating any business intelligence package really revolves around assessing and understanding your current needs, and then having a game plan, scoping out your environment, and then setting expectations. So we're going to go into detail on each of those points here. So let's talk about assessing and understanding your current needs. Let's see. So some of these needs in your organization may be to consolidate disparate data sources and create one version of the truth. Some people need the ability to give end users the ability to analyze their data. Some companies are looking to eliminate dependency on IT to provide a more self-service environment through ad hoc reporting, eliminate the use of spread marks, and also some companies have a broad initiative of being able to turn actionable information, raw data, into actionable information. And those are just some of the common needs that people have when it comes to business intelligence. So once you understand what your needs are, the important next step is to document what you've learned in your assessment, right? Define your subjective criteria. For example, easy to use. How are you going to measure easy to use? Have a game plan. For some people, for easy to use, may build out a prototype and do a sampling of end users and see how they interact with it and if they find it easy to use. If you're looking to find out if our product's intuitive, how will you measure that? What are you looking for specifically? So the more specific, detailed criteria you have, the more successful you'll be. Have an evaluation plan. Do you know what the solution must be? Do you know what the solution must not be, right? Oftentimes, the list of what it must not be is longer, which is fine. That actually helps us be able to guide you into whether Pentaho can meet your needs. Document as if you are implementing a project. If you're actually implementing a BI project, at the time of implementation, you'd have a project plan together with a task list. There's no difference in an evaluation except for that project plan is much, much smaller. Again, have detailed success criteria. So have the points that you want to prove out written down and share that with Pentaho and everybody on the team so everybody knows what we're working towards, the goals that we're trying to meet in this evaluation. I like to think of this as a road trip analogy. Now, Pentaho has offices in San Francisco, so I'll pull up San Francisco, right? Let's say we want to take a road trip from San Francisco to Manhattan. I love Manhattan. It's a great city, so I'm going to pick Manhattan on that. So let's take a road trip together. One way to do that road trip is, well, we could just drive east until we hit the coast and then head north. Eventually, we would get to Manhattan. Now, that probably would waste a ton of time, a ton of money, a ton of resources, and we risk going the wrong direction, right? Because we don't have a game plan. We don't have a map that we're following. So we would probably take that trip with a GPS where we would plug in our start and our destination, and it'll tell us the most effective route to get from point A to point B. And that's really what your evaluation plan does. by telling us where you want to go and where you are today, we can help guide you through that process. So once you've actually had your detailed evaluation plan and success criteria outlined, and again, that applies to any evaluation, not just Pentaho. The next thing is scoping out your evaluation, understanding the difference between evaluation and implementation. Typically in the implementation, there are much more concerns when it comes to integrating with your existing security model, and also performance on large sets of data. Typically in an evaluation, what you're doing is you're connecting to an environment that represents a real-life scenario within your organization, such as a test environment. Now, test environments typically are limited in scope as well. So there's different ways to test out, for example, LDAP integration, where Pentaho has some demonstrations and can show documentation on how to do that, so that you don't have to do that in your evaluation as a proof point. Because the longer your proof points are, the longer your evaluation is going to be, and the more resources it's going to take to complete that. Also, you want to eliminate some possible bottlenecks of time, money, and resources, right? Know what operating system you're going to install on. Have all that information readily available so that we can make the appropriate recommendations. Share with us how you want to integrate with your environment, and also any performance and data size requirements that you have. If you have a special scenario where you're going through a huge set of data that may be uncommon, then that may be part of your POC, and that needs to be discussed up front so we can provide the appropriate resources to help you accomplish that. So once we're done with scoping out your environment, what we would like to do is set some expectations, right? So once we have all that information from you, we give you the ability and the resources to accomplish all of that. And so to be able to evaluate enterprise software without any formal training is difficult. And so you have to be able to gain access to resources. And some of those resources that Pentaho does give you is documentation. Having an appropriately scoped out evaluation plan will help us guide you to the right documentation and the right public training that we may have. Taking advantage of available informal and formal training. Sometimes during an evaluation, we have seen many evaluators actually take a class, go ahead and purchase a class from Pentaho to learn some of the product that way. So those are some available options. Also, relying on evaluation support, and we're going to go into that into a little more detail here. So the different types of evaluations. Not every company, and I've been involved in hundreds and hundreds of evaluations, and every single one of them are unique. However, all of them can be fixed into different types of evaluations. Some evaluators will go to the hosted demo, which is demo.pentaho.com, where they can actually test drive our software there without having to install it and configure it themselves. That gives them the need, that fulfills the need they have to gain confidence in the feature functionality within our software tool set. We also have something called the 72-hour challenge, which basically is a low fixed cost paid engagement to scope out and build out a prototype. It's like a quick POC. A lot of times we'll see evaluators come up against a very tight deadline that they're trying to meet, so they have to make a decision pretty quickly. And so they don't have that time to invest in maybe trying to learn the product a little bit in order to build out a solution. So with our 72-hour challenge, what we do is we take some data from our prospect, and we take that data and we build out a prototype solution and make that available through the cloud for you guys to access and test out. Another one is a paid POC, which is similar to a 72-hour challenge. However, it's a more grander scale. The 72-hour challenge is scoped pretty tightly, whereas a paid POC can be as large as you need it to be. There's also self-driven POCs, and that's where you, and most of you are familiar with this, where Pentaho makes its software available to everybody to download and try from our website at pentaho.com, where you can download it, install, configure, and build out your own POC. This involves installing Pentaho on your system, connecting to your own data, and using our tools to build out a sample database, a sample evaluation, a sample solution, and test within your environment to make a confident decision. There is one other type of evaluation that I have seen other people do as well, and that is a customized demo where you give us some of your data and we'll do a demonstration of that. Again, that one is also used. I don't have that one listed here today, but that is another common way of evaluating. So if you decide to evaluate Pentaho and you want to download and install it, what resources are available to you? Well, it's important to Pentaho that we provide every possible resource to make you successful. So some of these resources are, we give you access to our software, first of all, on pentaho.com. And then we also give you access to a sandbox called sandbox.pentaho.com. And I'm going to actually go ahead and share my screen here really quickly and take you to the sandbox to show you what that looks like and give you some ideas of what's on there. So everybody should see my browser, and you see I'm at sandbox.pentaho.com. As soon as you sign on, you'll see a welcome screen with a video that describes the sandbox. Here you have a link to test drive the software. We give you a direct link to download the software. We also provide you with an evaluation checklist. This is to kind of help you in that evaluation plan, give you some things to think about. We also have some tutorials, and this is where the informal training comes in. So with these tutorials, you can learn how to install Pentaho, connect to your data, how to prototype your data, use Report Designer, use our data access. If you're interested in scheduling and distribution, we have that available. If you're working on a Hadoop evaluation, we also have a tutorial on that, as long as some data integration, videos, configuring with LDAP, as I had mentioned before, and also how to work with, how to integrate with Pentaho with social media, and some other advanced topics. We are constantly adding to this list, if not on a bi-weekly basis. We also have TechCasts that we have done in the past, and we have recorded them. So, for example, how to customize your user console using Agile BI, so on and so forth. So you'll notice that there's a lot of resources here, and most of these are videos for you to watch. And we also have samples and examples. So these are things that you can actually download and integrate with your version of Pentaho. So these are workable examples that you can use to help accomplish your evaluation. For example, if you want to do report bursting with Pentaho, if that's a need, here's a sample that you can download that'll do that for you. So that's an example of the sandbox. Now let's go back to the PowerPoint here and talk about the knowledge base. So once you download Pentaho, we will give you free access for 30 days to the knowledge base, and that's at kb.pentaho.com. And that's where all of our official documentation resides. And you can access all of that there. You also have access to our forums at forums.pentaho.com. We do provide you, when you install the product, if you go to your Start menu, or if you're installed on Linux, your installation directory, there's a documentation folder and under the Pentaho main directory, and there we have some getting started guides. The Pentaho Data Integration Getting Started Guide is extremely valuable in that it allows you, it walks you through building your first transformation end job. It's like a little mini training book, self-training book. I find that evaluators find that very useful. The Getting Started Guide also walks you through connecting to your data as well. The last resource that Pentaho does offer to you is we offer free 30-day of evaluation support. That means that if you come up to a roadblock, you're not sure how to do something, or if Pentaho can do something, or you're just running into an error that you can't get past, you have access to support at support.pentaho.com. And so with the same credentials you will receive from the knowledge base, you should be able to log in to the support portal and log a case. And one of those cases will go to our evaluation support engineers that will be more than happy to get on the phone with you and schedule a WebEx and help walk you through the problems you are having. So what does evaluation support cover? Well, we do cover basic installation using the GUI installation tool. We also help you with the configuration and connecting to your data. And we also will help you with basic content creation using the user console, report designer, schema workbench, and the metadata editor. If you have a data integration project as well, we will help you with Pentaho data integration as well. We cover support on all those products to help you get your evaluation going. So at this point, what I'd like to do is open it up for questions in regards to the topic and information that I have covered. And turn it back to Ryan as well. And you could submit your questions through the panel. Let me look here real quick at the questions. In terms of performance, what is the biggest bottleneck? That's a difficult question to answer because performance, there are so many variables when it comes to performance. For example, where is your data located? Where is your BI server located? You know, what type of queries are you doing? Are you doing simple queries, complex queries? How much memory is available to the machine? How many CPUs are available to the machine? I would say out of the gate, the quickest thing you can do to help gain performance is increase the memory settings within the Pentaho toolset. Because, for example, if you have a box with 4 gig of memory, by default, the Pentaho installation will only utilize, I think, 512 of that. So you actually would have to go in and change that configuration to utilize 1 gig, 2, 3, however many gigs of memory you want the Java to be able to access. Let me go down here and see what other questions we have. Any idea when 4.0 will come out? So you could get 4.0 as an RC on our website. We should go GA with that product sometime in August. I'm expecting in the next couple of weeks or so. How can I extend an evaluation period? Oscar, that's a good question. You can extend your evaluation period by just simply contacting your sales representative. If you don't know who your sales representative is, you can always send an email to evaluationsupport@pentaho.com, and my team can take care of that. We'll forward that to the appropriate sales representative for you. Is there any training documentation to have a quick walkthrough of most common or most used features? Absolutely, very good question. And that's the getting started guides that I covered that are included in the installation. They're also found on the knowledge base. Those are probably the best guides to walk you through that. Let's see here. How do I evaluate Enterprise Console? We do have an administrative guide that is located in the knowledge base, and you can also follow that guide to help walk you through the Enterprise Console. The Enterprise Console is basically for administrating the BI server, and because our installer automatically configures most of the product for you, there's very little you would ever have to do in the Enterprise Console except for add users. And typically in an evaluation, people aren't doing that. They do that during implementation. May we install Pentaho evaluation in a desktop or a notebook, or should we have a server machine? You can install it on a desktop or a notebook. I have Pentaho installed on my notebook. I'm running Windows 7. I also have it installed on a Windows XP, on Ubuntu. It really, whatever you have access to. Do have a client-server architecture, so for the end users, they're accessing everything through a web browser. And for developers, we have developer tools as well that can be installed on individual machines as well. Okay, I think we covered all of those questions. Are there any more questions out there that we can cover for you guys today? If you are interested in getting a hold of an evaluation support engineer because you need some help in your evaluation, I strongly recommend that you send an email to evaluationsupport@pentaho.com, and we will connect with you as soon as we can to help you through any issues you may be having. Let's see, any other questions? Ryan, are you there?
I am.
Okay.
We have one that came in that says, is Pentaho available over Hadoop?
Yes, so when I went to the sandbox, you saw there was a Hadoop tutorial. That tutorial will walk you through downloading Pentaho on a VM and also setting up Hadoop and connecting to Hadoop and being able to evaluate using Hadoop. Let's see, I think I found another question. We were looking at the plan. The question is being asked, is it configurable for failover and redundancy? Absolutely. That can be done at the application level. So with the GUI installation, it comes with a Tomcat application server. And so that Tomcat application server definitely has the ability to be able to do failover and redundancy. And Pentaho works closely with that to be able to accomplish that. That is a good question. I'm fairly new to BI software. Is this product too complicated for a new user? The way Pentaho is built is our GUI tools are really easy to use, and really by really easy to use, they're common in line with other BI tools. From an end user perspective, as long as an end user can use a website, such as Facebook, eBay, they can use the user console. It's that easy. There is the technologies that you would use in conjunction with Pentaho. So an appropriate skill set for maybe a developer would be basic SQL skills, basic SQL skills, and some basic web development skills such as HTML, JavaScript, of that nature. Those are not required. That's for doing advanced things. So, but I just wanted to make a point that if you even wanted to do advanced things, it just requires basic industry standard knowledge. Is there any benchmark document of Pentaho? Currently, we do not have any benchmark documentation because of how many variables there are involved with benchmarking. We are working at creating some sort of benchmark to give people an idea of how many CPUs they may require. But again, a lot of that depends on data location, processing of the data, the query complexity, so on and so forth. Someone's asked if there's support for MPP databases like Vertica and Greenplum. Absolutely. Brian, I'm not sure if I've missed any other questions. I don't know if you see any other questions there.
Well, there's quite a few questions, and we're kind of running out of time here. So I think we'll try to wrap up. If we didn't quite get to your question, please feel free to reach out to us or give us a call, and we'll put you in contact with your rep. We will have a recording of this made available, and we'll have that posted on the website, and an email will go out to show you where to find that. Wayne, thanks for your time today. Other than that, thanks everyone for joining, and keep an eye out on our website to see what we have available for more upcoming events. Have a good day.